I was 17 years old when a gunman opened fire at my high school in Parkland, Florida. I was a junior at the time of the shooting, and in the days and weeks that followed, grief really became an organizing principle for a group of us who refused to accept that this was the cost of growing up in America. We had seen the consequences of political inaction up close, and we decided to do something about it. And so we organized a big march called the March for Our Lives just over a month later after the shooting. And what began as a march, an act of collective mourning and moral defiance, really grew into this big movement where now I still run into young people who are involved in public service or politics, and they say the first thing they ever did to engage civically or politically was organize a walkout at their school after the shooting at my high school, or was organizing or attending a March for Our Lives in their community or in DC. And so, March for Our Lives was also never about just one shooting. It was about saying that no community's pain should be dismissed as inevitable because, of course, we see shootings happening in communities, especially Black and Brown communities across this country every single day. And so over time, I realized with my organizing work within March for Our Lives, I found myself moving from being an activist to also being this builder and learning how to translate that burst of outrage into infrastructure and into a sustainable organization capable of holding that power and purpose. And I was very involved for the first few years of the organization, but sometimes in work as challenging as this, it requires for people to kind of move in and out of the movement for sustainability because it's hard to do this work and think about this work all the time, which I'm so appreciative of Dr. Hyde here for stepping in while so many need to step back sometimes. So I stepped back for a few years to go to college and grad school, but I stepped back in after I finished my studies this year because I wanted to lead with that same conviction that I had when I founded the organization, but also with a deeper understanding of what it takes to sustain a movement, not just with passion, but also with structure and care and strategy.
So in your bio, you mention, fighting for a safer, more just future free of gun violence. What does a future free of gun violence mean to you?
Well, first and foremost, I see that future being one where our young people, our future generations, don't even have to think about the possibility of getting shot in their school, in a public space, on their streets. But unfortunately, it would be hard to find a young person in the United States today that does not experience those fears. Justice to me in this space means liberation from the conditions that make violence possible in the first place. It's not just accountability after the harm happens, which of course it is an important aspect of the work, but it's also about prevention and dignity and transformation before it happens. So that is really what is necessary to get us to that future free of gun violence.